welcome back to The Watch. And Oz, what is your views on trash talk, specifically in video games?
It's good.
You liked it, do you?
I like trash talk.
I know you can trash talk, and you're pretty good at it when you really want to trigger
When I really
people.
want to be, yeah.
When you want to.
Yeah.
Like, you have a talent for it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I do have a talent for saying horrible, horrible things.
You have a talent for pissing people off and making them hate you.
Oh, remember the days of Conan?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm remembering, Oz.
Yeah.
So, I have some complicated thoughts, actually, on it. Because there are statements, comments, behavior that I would never engage in myself.
You have never sworn with an F or a C or an SHIT. Never. I have never heard it, ever.
I try and keep my language pretty clean.
Apart from retard and...
Well, retard is
It's not
a
swear,
classic Aussie word.
Yeah.
We can't abandon that one.
Yeah.
And so, for me, there's things that I'll never, engage in. Yet at the same time, I would never take away people's freedom or ability to speak freely. One of the key, most fundamental things, as soon as you want to classify something as like hate speech, right?
Yep.
Who gets to define what's hate speech, Oz? Who gets to say what is over the line then? Because as soon as you start to try and police language, you get authoritarian overreach. You get people trying to police crazy things. What was it? Was it like a Call of Duty game or something where they literally censored the word white?
That
in the
was
text?
Battlefield.
Right? We get insanity. And hate speech has now become a meaningless term. Once upon a time, I think it had a more understood definition, which was speech that called for violence against other people based on immutable characteristics, essentially. Okay? I think that would have been a fair definition of hate speech.
Well, I think it's one of those terms that don't really mean anything.
Well, now it means nothing. Now it is just anything that offends someone.
Yeah, but hateful speech by definition is free speech. Like, why would we need to defend speech that is perfectly reasonable and fine to hear?
That's true, exactly. There would be no need to defend reasonable speech.
Yeah.
The only protections speech needs is when people object to it.
Yes.
Right? And so there is a streamer, her name is Taylor Morgan, and she engaged in some trash talking. Now, the clip is interesting.
I already know how this is going to go. I haven't seen anything related to this, but I already know how it's going to go.
Tell me how you reckon it's going.
Okay, so if you were in the woods hunting, what's another thing that lives in the woods and hunts? A bear. Bear, right?
Bears.
Would you go and trash talk a bear?
Probably not. You wouldn't want to poke a bear.
No.
Don't, and that's kind of a saying, don't poke the bear.
Don't poke the bear, because the bear is much bigger and stronger than you, or it's better at doing the thing which you're trying to do.
Yes.
So I'm going to guess that she talks a dude, and there's a handful of things that he could do that would instantly trigger her beyond belief.
Yes.
Yes, because we're better at it. It's like women being funny. You don't need to be. We're better at it.
Okay. Not necessarily better.
Yeah.
I think trolls go for the lowest hanging fruit.
Yes.
And as soon as they can figure out anything about the person they're trying to trigger, right, they will go for the easiest target.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there is a stereotype of female gamers not being able to handle too much trash talk, especially about some certain subjects.
Yes, but I'd like to defend my trolls though, my fellow troll brethren. What has video games taught us but to aim for the weak spots? That way you know take.
Well, this is why I find this clip rather interesting, because there's actually two games happening here. There is the game they are playing, and then as soon as the trash talking begins, another layer appears.
One-upmanship.
The purpose of trash talking is to try and unnerve your opponent to get them to either play worse or achieve the exact thing that she does.
Yep. Or to hype yourself up and be more confident.
Yes, all right? Now, it is clear that most people, and when I say most, I mean like the vast majority, do not actually believe the things that they're saying. What he says here is vile, okay? He's saying it purely to achieve this result, though. Because he knows if he can win this game, he will win the larger game.
Yes. Now, I have no idea what this man says, okay? I will say this, though. Nothing is more revealing than if... I mean, like, there's nothing more offensive than the truth. And if the truth offends you, there's nothing more revealing than what truth offends you. So having no idea what he said.
He says something really bad. You do not want to endorse it at all.
I won't say whether or not I endorse it.
It's really bad.
And even if it's that bad, but I still
thing is,
do
though,
believe it, I won't say I will.
What he says is actually similar in tone to what many comedians have used for jokes. There's a recent one. Is it Jimmy Carr, Natural Born Killer?
Jimmy Carr, he's like, ha, ha, ha.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's him. And his special is Natural Born Killer. And I've watched it, and he goes too far for my taste in many instances, right? One of the things why I still appreciate comics willing to push the line like that is because of the censorious nature of the world, where comics that will just not give an F and say some really horrid stuff, right, for the sake of humor, does encourage people to just not be such Karens. Don't take things so seriously. Don't get up in arms about, oh, someone said something offensive, right? And for that sense, I think even really edgy comedians that go far too far for my taste are doing something important.
Do you know any comedians that, apart from Jimmy Carr, that go too far for your tastes?
Yeah, a couple.
Couple, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was a comedian instead of an internet comedian. No, I'm kidding. Love my job.
What's the British guy? I forget. My brain just went
Jimmy
down.
Carr.
No, the other.
I know who you're talking about.
He did the Golden Globe speech.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, yeah.
Love Ricky Gervais. So damn funny, right? But for me, there are certain things that you shouldn't joke on. That's just me. That's my standard. I don't impose it on other people. I don't try and censor other people or criticize other people for making jokes that I think are inappropriate or going too far.
I believe in sacredity.
There are some things that are sacred.
However, if I died, the first thing I want people to do is make jokes about it. Because
Can
then
we have an Oz roast at your funeral?
yes, absolutely. Because here's the thing: that way, even my death
I don't know.
has made people happy.
I think there are some roasts that I've thrown at you that hurt you a bit too much. I was like, okay, he can be a bit sensitive. Let me tone it back.
No, typically I'll like I roast myself harder than most people, right? Because it's the whole use it as armor and you're not offended by it, which is genius. Yeah. So I want people to laugh at my death and make jokes about it, please.
Okay, so as we're talking about, there's like 2 games going on, and then there's the whole low-hanging fruit thing, and it is the reality of situation that women on average are more sensitive about certain things like their appearance.
Yep.
Criticism against female appearance does emotionally affect them more than guys. And I can kind of understand why. Like, there's more social capital put into female appearance than male appearance, right? And as a result, it can be a bit harder to insult guys. Or, like, because people have tried to insult me viciously. I'm fat, my appearance, my intelligence,
You're not an ugly man.
my talent.
You're actually a rather handsome man.
Oh, thank you, Oz.
You are a bit beefy, but you're still a handsome man.
It's a bit gay, but thank you.
Well, look, there's nothing. I'd say what's gayer is to see something but not name it because you're worried about seeming gay. But you are a handsome fella. You're a bit beefy, but you're a handsome fella.
I'm on the chunky side.
It's all in the eyes. Yeah. Your family, your entire family have great eyes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you are a funny man.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. See, that's all it needs.
People look at me and they say, he looks funny.
But, okay, so trolls, right? They've tried to attack me and does nothing, all right? Similar types of attacks can affect, and this is just the reality. There are certain things that upset women more than guys. And the same type of, if a guy tried to say this to like another guy, I think the guy would just laugh at it.
Yeah, because we appreciate good humor.
Like, what is something, a phrase that is termed when you're in a game and you destroy someone, like viciously so? What is a phrase that usually happens like, you just got what?
You just got crapped on, but with a different
No,
word.
there's you just
got raped.
You just got raped. Like that has unironically come up in games I've played.
Yeah.
Like I was playing Dota and we were doing a LAN party and I was playing with my 2 brothers, right? And I went up against one brother and destroyed him in the engagement. And he was a bit salty. I was all upset. And my other brother said, it's because he just got raped. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Call the special victims unit because you just got raped.
Yeah. All right. So this type of trash talking is actually rather common. Okay. So with that context understood, low-hanging fruit and everything like that, let's listen to this engagement and break it down a bit, because what she's calling for here, that this guy should be banned completely, and more censorship needs to be done by the developer, and all this type of stuff. Okay.
Is it as loud as it gets?
I think so.
Okay.
You are literally just all talk, bro.
Pretty, like, that's pretty weak trash talk.
Yes.
But she is engaging in it.
Yes, but also, here's the nuance with trash talk and conversation and joking, right? There's no joking there. That's like, not condescending, but it's like, she's put herself above him by saying, you're bad, but also, like, she's saying it so matter-of-factually that there's no actual humour in it.
Yeah. And so, this is her engaging and inviting the trash talk back. You actually pretty bang on the money when you breaking this down, because now she's engaging in it with someone who is willing to go much, much further than she is.
But she started it by not having any humour, any levity in it.
I don't know if there's greater context about starting before or after, anything like that. All this shows is she is engaging in it. Okay?
Oh, be honest with me.
One down. My ult's ready.
Do you know what rape feels like?
Like I said, it goes pretty far.
Whew. I wouldn't say something like that.
No, neither would I, right?
But,
it's bad. It's bad, right?
Well, let's be clear. It was not a nice thing to say.
It was not a nice thing.
But I wouldn't say it was bad. It had the desired effect.
It made you laugh because of how... Okay. Now, this is someone who is willing to go vastly further than she is. And it's, again, he is playing with a female gamer. Stereotypically, there are things that women find more triggering and sensitive. And so he's going for the low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
And if you say, oh, this is, how dare I be, like, impose gender stereotypes, the fact that women respond differently to things that guys, this is proving it, okay? Yeah. What would you do if a guy said that to you?
Do I know what rape feels like? What would I say?
Ask your...
that could work. It would depend on the situation, but I'd think of something probably quickly.
I know, but you naturally always try and take it a step further. You always try and up the ante to throw the other person off.
Yeah, it's called one-upmanship.
Yeah. And you go too far for me many times. You know you can do that because you're willing to go further than I will, and then cause me like, all right, you beat me, you bastard, kind of thing.
We have a good. Well, you'll never admit that you've beaten, but you don't need to because it's always self-evident. You know, that's the thing about one-upmanship. You never admit. You can be like, okay, that was good, and that's but never say, fine, you win.
So here's the thing, right? This to me is inappropriate. Okay, should game developers try and censor this type of speech?
No.
The reason why I say no is because as soon as you give someone the power to be the language police, they're going to start policing things that I actually feel are perfectly fine and normal.
Yep.
Like they'll police religious words, normal expression, even innocuous things like the word white, right? And so it's, for me, just for the nature of protection of speech, this is almost, you have to allow mostly everything. I draw the line at illegal speech, like calls to violence and stuff, of course, right? Thing is, though, this is clearly grossly offensive, only, I guess, in context. Because if someone said that to me, I wouldn't be offended at it.
Let me ask you something. How many calls to violence have you seen done by people with political power?
A lot.
A lot. Is any of that ever cracked down on?
The calls to violence by the people in political power. There's backlash, but usually they get away with it.
Exactly. So do you think that we need, like, giving them the tools to
Oh, you don't want to, trust me, you don't want to give them the tools.
Yeah.
But, like, if someone said this word to me, do you know what that feels like? My response would be, no, but you seem oddly informed on the subject.
Okay, that inspired me. I'd be like, well, I bet it's the only way you get any pussy. Something like that.
But as I was like, but I already said I didn't. You clearly know a lot about this.
Me knowing a lot about rape.
Yeah, receiving it in particular, because you asked about knowing what it feels like. And I guess that's the only way you... And I would engage it back, and I would try... Again, it's all about spinning it back on the other person.
Your response is good. However, brevity is the soul of wit.
I know. I'm usually too wordy.
Exactly. So you should have been like, no, why? What's it feel like? Oh, you tell me.
You tell me.
Yeah.
No, I don't actually.
All right, so she's already triggered and upset.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to give in.
Well, do you want to know?
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
You're heading on the right path right now.
Are you saying you're gonna rape me?
Okay, so when he says you're heading on the right path, that seems like, in game. You keep doing it, I'm going to rape you by destroying you in game kind of thing. He goes over the line. I wonder if YouTube is going to ping us for this.
You're going on the right path for it.
Is that what you're saying?
See, to me, it feels like what she's doing is, what, are you saying something illegal almost? Are you what are you saying? I'm going to report you kind of thing, right? And with a troll like this, that is not going to get them to stop at all.
Toxins going up.
It's not rape if I like it.
Why is she smiling?
No, right? She is smiling, actually. That's interesting.
Is it now? Hectic
Really
goal.
offended.
Now she is choosing to be offended. And she ends the stream.
Yeah, because that's the whole tactic of and I've seen this before. It has happened with girlfriends. They choose to be offended, but I can always see that smile behind their eyes, and I always call it
is
out.
odd that she smiled in response to that. Now, the comment, I feel is vile. He purposely saying it though because he knows it'll trigger it.
It's a horrible thing to say.
Okay, this is
I
the thing,
never say
right?
to a woman I know.
Again, remember the two games? He knows if he can unhinge her emotionally, which is the purpose of trash talking, that will make her perform worse in the game. Not only did he achieve that, he got her to quit. Forfeit the game, his team won.
Yep, because in warfare there's multiple battlefields. Some are in the mind.
Look at that. She's smiling right there. That is
Smiling the whole time. Why is she smiling?
Is she because she knows this is social clout that she can use to get attention and play the victim?
Yes.
Look at that. That is not the face of someone who was genuinely hurt by a comment when someone says something really scathing and cruel and you get the feeling where it's like a stab in the heart. You don't react with a smile.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that is the... I've got theories on that, but I don't think I can name them on YouTube.
Look at that. That is... All right, I did not notice that when I first watched this. All right.
Jeepers delight.
So, this is what she has said in response, posting this. I have never made a more desperate plea than what I'm about to say right now. Riot Games, Riot Support, I need you guys to effing do something. I am an incredibly strong person, and I have been streaming for a very, very long time, but absolutely nothing prepares you for someone saying this to you. Look, I have to say, doubt on the incredibly strong person.
Doubt on all of that.
Okay. Nothing prepares you for someone saying this to you. Okay. Look, it was an awful comment. All right. I've had pretty bad comments, like death threats and everything against me. And again, I guess she's not a strong person. She's obviously far more sensitive. Okay.
Yet she's smiling at this.
Because did you see the clip of the girl gamer who was like getting trash talked, and someone was saying, "Yeah, go back in the kitchen and make me a sandwich" or something like that?
What, from Bully Hunters, the fake one?
No, it wasn't Bully Hunter, because her response was, "I'm going to F your dad and give him a son he actually loves."
That was...
Have you heard that one?
I haven't. I've heard tale of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, like, that's a strong person where just like, all right, trash talk. This is the arena. I'll trash talk back, you know?
They're beaten. They're beaten once she says that.
Yeah.
Because part of trash talk is blocking or taking the thing without showing any damage and then giving it back.
Yeah. The suspensions are not enough. Nothing will ever stop these men from acting this way until the hardware bans go into play. They should never be able to play the game again. And it's like, oh, that's so extreme. Okay? And
This is something that is like a microcosm of society. Women, they want to play on the same level as men because they want to be equal above men, right? They want to play the same games. Well, here's the thing. A man's game charges a man's price. And if you take the price away from the game, the game is worth less, right? And then when they lose the game, they demand the people with all of the power to change it.
And look, we're not saying this universally, but there is a trend, okay? Guys have been trash talked this bad and worse across the board, okay? Again, rape comments and other things like that. Part of the we played Conan Exiles. Remember the trash talking on that, as well as Dota 2 when I played that. Heaps of trash talking, everything. And what's odd is like your comments about the R word, right? When you're gaming, everything like that, have happened a lot, but they never stood out to me because it's trash talk.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like this individual, it has affected her more emotionally, yet her reaction doesn't really reflect that. Now she's choosing to use it and say that, this is really bad.
Yeah. You know what deepest delight is, right? It's when you're being deceptive, but you aren't as good at being deceptive, and so you're smiling because you're happy that you're deceiving people, right? Deepest delight. She knows what this means. She knows what she can get out of it.
It feels like her reaction is like, I just got something gold that I can use, you know? Because her reaction is just... is joy. She hears it and smiles, and she's like, it's almost like I got what I needed. Thank you. Now look,
covering her face. Now she's somewhat cognizant of the fact she's doing it.
I granted, we could be reading too much into this.
No.
Some people do, when they don't know how to react to something, they're in shock. They will just like smile.
Yes. However, like you. No offense, Shad, you do have the nervous laugh, right?
No.
Yeah. But what do you call it? Body language is one of the most difficult things to fake. Body language never fails. Someone can lie straight to your face, but they will pantomime, give away their lies with their body.
Okay, and so now she's trying to say suspensions are not enough. Nothing will ever stop these men from acting the way... She's right about it. Nothing will stop guys from trash talking, especially in a competitive environment, all right? But then bans won't stop it either. Like, they'll just make alt accounts and stuff. But now she's like, hardware bans.
Yeah.
All right? They should never be able to play the game again. I know you hear us. I know you see us. If this goes unpunished, I am taking this as an active act from you that you do not give a single F about any of the women and minorities that... Why are you saying minorities? And hang on, by the way... Guys get trash talk like this just as bad.
Yeah.
Why is it worse if a woman receives it or a man? Is it because the R? Like, you think a threat of the R word against a guy isn't bad? And then why are you bringing minorities into it as well? Like,
because the whole intersectionality, they have to group themselves together because they're oppressed groups. Yeah.
And I will rally to boycott. This is just absolutely not on.
If you're offended by gaming culture, bugger off. Go away. Is there a way to say, rather than saying get S on, without saying the SHIT, is there another one I can...
I don't know.
I don't like the word crap.
So Epic Mike he gives this commentary. Sometimes like, help, I led this guy on to say mean S to me to farm content. It did seem like that, where she was like, what? Do you want to army? Like, what are you saying? Like, make sure no one can ever use mean words because it's not enough for me to mute people. If I unmute them, they shouldn't say terrible things to me. This is very on point. All she needs to do is mute him.
Yeah.
Block him. It's that easy.
Yeah.
That easy. That is the mechanic. If you are offended by this language, right, there is an easy thing to do to stop you having to do it. Mute them. Oh, but another one. Mute them as well. Yep. You can mute, and eventually you phase them out, right? It's that easy. But no, they want to upend the entire thing, right? And then force, companies or developers to start policing language according to the standards of the offended.
Yep.
Okay? Not any actual logical even standards, because there are types of language that are thrown against guys that people don't give a crap about. Okay? People make fun of male suicide all the time and stuff like that. No one gives a crap.
Yeah.
Right? And which are, by the way, men commit suicide much higher than women.
Well, you say that, but we don't know their pronouns.
I mean, no, seriously. guys have had their private parts chopped off, and women have celebrated and laughed about it. On The View, remember The View, this vile talk show, feminist nutcase show that's been around for ages, right? They were talking about that, and one of the co-hosts on it says, I actually think this is a wonderful thing, right? Disgusting, right? They will celebrate acts of the most vile mutilation against men, right? Laugh about it, but if they get called mean words, right? How dare they? We need to ban them all for life, right? The double standards make me friggin' sick.
Just makes me appreciate being a man. Because to know that they can throw bricks at me and I can shrug it off and flick a pebble in their direction, and their immediate response is, oh, and they're ripping their hair out and begging for me to be banned to the people in power.
By the way,
I feel powerful myself.
There are some pretty weak men that also, can't handle trash
but
talk.
they get weeded out, They get put in with the progressive liberal
yeah, but
pussies.
they exist. It's not just, women and men different. And there are women that can handle it, like the one we mentioned where she threw it back, right? There is a trend, okay, that creates these stereotypes. Yeah. But Epic Mike is completely on point. All we have to do is mute him.
Yep.
Right?
Or not engage in trash.
And then he continues, I'm so outraged and I'm going to make myself a mouthpiece for all women and minorities, even if they don't agree with my fake ass outrage. Yeah. And then waiting on the block.
Yeah, in before block. Yeah.
In before block. Okay. Now, he's on point. He's on point.
Yeah.
Instead of taking personal responsibility and just muting and just grow a tougher skin, people are mean in the world, right? You cannot force others to be nice by law or, position or by your standards as well. Because as soon as you try and do this, right, there are opinions people have that they have with no maliciousness at all. It's just their opinions, but it offends someone and they should be banned and everything. Not using someone's preferred pronouns is a perfect example, okay? There are a lot of people who reject pronoun ideology simply on the facts of biology. They disagree with it. And this is the thing. People are entitled to believe what they want. What my objection is forcing people to conform to ideological practices they disagree with. And like I said, people who reject pronoun ideology, there's nothing maliciousness in it, especially if they come from a religious standpoint. Male and female, two genders, flat. That's their belief. It's my belief. We don't mean to offend, but because people take offense at it, right? And it's standards like this, right? Where I'm offended, therefore I should have the right to censor you. And yes, there was maliciousness in that comment, but now, as soon as you grant people that authority, they will use it against people who have no maliciousness, they just have a belief. Yeah. You must be censored for it.
Yeah. Right? I disagree with you. I think people have a requirement. People are obligated to try and interpret reality through reality and not through these BS belief systems of isms and stuff like that. That's, I will not question your beliefs as long as your beliefs have a basis in reality and you can explain them clearly and logically.
Okay, but I still think people can believe what they want. Just don't force it on others.
But that
there's obvious caveats. So when I say believe what they want, as long as it doesn't take away from the ability for other people to exercise their beliefs, it doesn't cause actual harm and stuff like that. Because there are beliefs that cause harm, right? That I oppose. Yeah.
As long as it can be, as long as I can understand where you get it from and it's logical, Otherwise.
So, this is an interesting example of the reasons people try to censor, and an unfortunate, reality that people are not taking on, accountability where all we have to do is block and ignore. Yeah. And as well, I don't think she is acknowledging the fact that she is also engaging in it.
She started it, apparently.
Well, from the clip it's shown, but I don't know if it... But she was engaging in it. And if it was already it's easy to tell if it's going in that direction. As soon as you see an arsehole where you know what they're willing to push to, you block and mute. Problem solved. That's... I was playing Dota. Exact same thing. It's like, oh, this guy's an a-hole. Mute, done. And I keep playing the game. You rob their power of doing anything as soon as you do that. But that seems to be beyond this person's capacity to understand. They don't know. They just need to be banned. So there we go. And it's, like I said, it's an interesting thing because it encapsulates a lot of the issues that exist in the world in terms of censorship and what causes it.
How typical it all is.
Stay on watch. Bye.